Way out west, old fogies like me put a bit of weight to legacy planning and death benefit. How long do you think it will take for dividends to start climbing? My best guess, we got at least 10 years. I think we're in a low interest rate environment. Most insurance companies, they make their dividends, they make their profits off of very, very long-term investments. And those investments start a long time ago. So we started moving into this low interest rate environment 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's starting to catch up to all these insurance companies. That's why we're seeing their dividend rates coming down. They kept them up as high as they could, but they are still coming down. They're getting to a point where the dividends that they're getting into, or the investments that they're getting into, there are some investments that they're getting into that could return a little higher amount. They're kind of getting used to being in this environment and knowing that they need to be in an investment that's going to get them a better return. And so some companies are able to do that. Some companies are able to manage that. Some aren't. Like Ohio National is turning into a stock company from a mutual company because they can't hack it. They're not able to afford paying out the dividends. And so what's going to happen is they're going to buy out any people that want to get a buyout. They're going to give out stocks to some of their policy owners. But moving forward, those policies are only going to pay out the bare minimum. They're just going to get the guaranteed rate. Because at that point, dividends are going to be split up between stockholders and policy owners. So it's kind of a bad situation. That's going to happen to probably some other companies that are struggling as well. The top carriers that we're looking at, they're still paying high dividends. The dividends have come down slightly, but they're still paying dividends well over that guaranteed rate. I expect those to continue. Mass Mutual pays the highest dividend out there, although not necessarily technically because they just announced the highest gross dividend. They are still one of the top ones out there when it comes to year after year potential growth, but not necessarily the highest. But they report the highest dividend, and they've recently invested in Bitcoin, like $100 million in Bitcoin. I think that's a good move. You know, insurance companies are very conservative in their investments. So that's a bold move that I think is going to end up paying off for them in the long run, and they'll be able to keep paying those higher dividends because Bitcoin's going to provide a really solid return over the next 5 and 10 years. So insurance companies are going to be making those adjustments. But at the same time, the interest rate environment overall, I don't see that changing very much. I mean, low interest rates is the only thing keeping this economy going. If it goes up, stock market's going to crash, politicians are going to get fired, and one of the things that they do, they don't like to get fired. They like to get reelected every year, and the economy performing is one of those things. So pressure is on to keep interest rates low. We're just not in an environment that can absorb a higher interest rate without it crashing the economy. So I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. We might try and ease into it a little bit over time, but it's going to take a long time. So that's why I think at least 10 years is our horizon. So if it takes at least 10 years for dividend rates to go up, that's 10 years of growth and gain that a more efficient design policy is going to be outpacing that. It's going to take a lot longer for it to catch up and surpass it once the dividend rates do start to come back up. And for the most part, I don't think most of them will ever come back and catch it. So, good questions.
I hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time.
Now go maximize your cash flow.